All right. This is for real this time. For realsies.
This is for realsies?
This is it. This is the podcast.
Okay.
That literally two of people have asked me about. Are you doing a podcast?
Who's two people?
I'm not going to tell you their names. They're remain nameless, but they saw little stupid photos we put on Instagram of the cats and the microphones. And
can you tell me later?
It's not sure. I'll tell you off mic. It's not a cat podcast. I'm sorry if you were coming here for a cat podcast. That's not what this is.
It would be better though. It'd be a better podcast.
The name of this podcast is, and I'll have you say it because you originated the phrase.
You're mean to me.
You mean to me. Doesn't even sound like words.
I
know. But yeah, it's Your Mean to Me podcast. We're going to be talking about the things that we kind of love and have started to love by association. Mm-hmm. For me, it's wrestling, and you fell in love with it. And then for you, it's
Bravo Celebrities and reality TV.
Bravo Celebrities?
That's what they're called. That's the coin term. Bravo Celebrities.
Oh, God.
You have so much to learn, Christopher.
Yeah. Ugh. And then also relationships, because I'm sure that our real life is going to pour into this at some point, or we'll talk about things that happen between us. We've only been married for about 3 months.
Close, yeah. It'll be 3 months next week.
Okay. But who's counting?
Me, I'm counting.
Oh, yeah. It's our day 55 anniversary. Like, what?
Sorry I keep track of our love.
Please stop. Please stop. So one thing that one person that kind of pulled you into wrestling is Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
There's a lot of controversy around Mr. Rhodes right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you agree.
Yeah. Well, you're stating a fact. How am I supposed to disagree with that?
The name of the goddamn show. But another argument that we had a very passionate discussion about this a few months ago, and I wanted to bring it back around because I think it makes sense, is that MJF,
right,
who's a big star in AEW, former world champion, there was rumors and things going around that he might jump to WWE at some point, possibly in the beginning of 2024. That's probably not going to happen, as we've seen. But your side was that you thought it'd be great if he jumped to WWE.
Yes.
And I said it'd be terrible.
Yes.
And now one of the things I think that both of our arguments hinged on was Cody going to WWE and how he's been treated the last few years. So now, with all the Cody Rock Roman shenanigans, do you still believe that MJF will be better off in WWE? And let me preface this by saying you're an AEW hater.
Okay, well, how about full disclosure? You have ties to AEW through friendships and relationships that you have. So if we're going to be really real about this,
there's nothing to do with it.
I mean, you have more emotional attachment to AEW.
I'm not talking about. There's nothing to do with it.
I'm just saying, if you're going to call me out as an AEW hater, I think you should be honest about your...
That I'm an AEW lover.
Yeah.
But, okay, all that aside, yes, I have friends that work there. I'm in the wrestling business. For those who don't know who I am, which is probably 90%.
Everyone.
Yeah, everyone, except for friends and family who watch this. I'm in the wrestling business. I've been in the wrestling business for almost 5 years. Started as a referee. Now I'm a manager for WrestlePro New Jersey, owned by Pat Buck, who is a VP at AEW. I have other friends who are wrestlers there, backstage people, you name it. All that aside, so we'll get that out there. You don't like AEW and compared to WWE.
Correct.
And your original argument was that MJF would be better off in WWE.
Right.
Do you still believe that now?
Yes.
Seeing what happened to Cody, how he just had his main event spot at WrestleMania, we're still not 100% on this, but possibly has had his WrestleMania main event spot taken away, usurped by The Rock.
I guess my question to you would be, has AEW never dropped the ball on a storyline? Has AEW never made a bad, back office decision? This is just going to happen.
They've never had somebody come in and built a storyline for 2+ years and had somebody come in and just wipe it away for their own ego. No, I don't think that's happened. When CM Punk came in, he didn't wipe anything away. They built new storylines around him. They inserted him into the world title picture.
And then what happened? He got fired because of a beef with Jungle Boy, of all people. What's he up to these days, Mr. Jungle Boy?
He's in New Japan. He debuted in New Japan and ripped up his AEW contract.
Okay, but I only know about him because of his beef with CM Punk. CM Punk made him relevant because they beefing.
Right, in AEW.
But, I mean, now CM Punk's over here thriving.
This has nothing to do with CM Punk.
I'm just saying, you're making it sound like AEW makes all the right calls.
I didn't say that. That's not what the debate is.
Okay, but it could happen anywhere. Also, when I was first introduced to MJF, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was feuding with Wardlow. He had his contract. There was some weird storyline. I wasn't really involved, but you like described it to me. And then when he finally had his match, he got powerbombed like 1,000,000 times. You think that was a creative choice he had? Like, oh, I want to look like a fool in the ring with this guy? Like, that just made it seem like I don't think that these storylines are always good, or the creative side of it is always going to go your way.
But nobody stepped in and pushed Wardlow out of the way and powerbombed him instead. They didn't bring in a bigger star to replace Wardlow because that was the culmination of a storyline. It was a culmination of them breaking up as a team. I mean, almost as like a manservant situation because he had Wardlow.
Yeah, but it made MJF look kind of weak, no? Didn't it? I didn't think MJF was a big deal because it made it seem like he couldn't wrestle. That was my introduction to MJF.
All right. Well, then they built him back up.
Okay.
And then he gets built back up. He has the feud with Punk.
Listen, I don't think anybody out there is dreaming of the day that they main event All In. Okay? Like,
yeah, Will Ospreay is actually.
Is he?
Will Ospreay's definitely dreaming of that day.
Is he?
He's British. He's the greatest. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world right now. He's coming to AEW full time very, very, very soon. His New Japan contract's up, and he's a huge star in England. He was at the first, well, not the first All In, the first All In at Wembley last year. Yeah, no. So that kills that argument that everybody wants it. 80,000 people. MJF and Adam Cole main evented in front of 80,000 people.
I'm just saying it's not something.
I feel like you're dancing around the issue. Do you think that MJF is better off as he just lost the world title after a long reign? He's recuperating injuries that he's documented on different interviews, podcasts, whatever he did. Do you think he'd be better off in WWE, where he'd have to start over? He'd have to build himself up probably over a couple years. He's not going to walk in there and be a surprise Super WrestleMania main event guy like Cody did. Do you think he's better off starting over now in WWE than if he just came back and was still a top guy main eventer in AEW?
Okay, so here's the thing. If he comes in and he has to work his way up, it takes a couple of years, right? If he signs another contract with AEW, he's there a couple of years, and he comes back as a bigger name, and he has more status, he still ends up in the same place. It's just a couple of years. So would you rather spend those couple of years at WWE, or would you rather spend those couple of years at AEW?
I would rather, if I were him, I would rather stay with AEW for another 2 to 3 years and build myself up even more world title reigns, become a more recognizable figure, and then go to WWE when you're closer to 30. He's still, I believe, he's 26, 27 years old. I don't know for certain. He's very young for wrestling and to be the level he's at. So I think if he's not even pushing 30 yet, to spend more time in AEW, get the season, become the biggest star AEW has hands down, and then his asking price, the price they'll have to pay for him WWE, is going to be ginormous, and he could walk in to WrestleMania and be a top guy. I don't think he's there yet. I think he's on the cusp of being there. And after seeing Cody do it, and I mean, look at Jade Cargill.
Well, then I don't understand what this has to do with the argument, because like we're talking about Cody. You're saying that what happened to Cody should have an impact on MJF's decision, or like what do you think MJF should be? But how does that where does that connection come in for you? How does that make you double down on your opinion?
Because seeing Cody, who he's close with, who he also feuded with very, very early in his AEW career, almost I think out of the gate. Because he was like, Cody was his mentor sort of thing. Seeing Cody have this 2-year story and the rug pulled out from under him, why would he want to go there? Why would he want to go there and be like, oh,
well, how about the aftermath of that? I mean, We Want Cody was trending #1 on Twitter. It's a global thing. It's making the mainstream media. My dad was talking to me about it because he saw it on the news, and my father can give 2 shits about wrestling. So this is making headlines. Right. So you're telling me he would make headlines at AEW?
But if Cody is out of the match and it's Rock and Roman and Cody and Seth, that in my opinion kills Cody's momentum. It literally gives him the second. It literally gives him the.
First of all, the story hasn't even finished yet.
Right.
Okay, we don't know. The narrative keeps changing.
All speculation. True.
Right. We haven't had a final decision made. Okay, right. That's #1.
Right.
#2, I still think you're not focusing on the love that it's outpouring for Cody right now. Okay, his status at WWE is making people hate The Rock of all people. I would never thought in my lifetime I'd see people boo The Rock or chant Rocky sucks.
That was awesome.
So this was impactful. And I'm sorry, you can call me a mark for WWE all you want, but I'd rather be the mid card or the undercard at WWE than the top face at AEW. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
I don't think it's that special. I don't think it's made a name for itself. And I think you just love Kenny Omega and the Elite that much, which I think I can see good wrestling both places, but I think it's just WWE is just that much better.
You know Cody was part of the Elite, right?
Yeah, but now he isn't. So
you know he started it.
But he isn't now. So what's the argument there?
He had a personal issue with somebody. Won't tell anybody. We have to know, Cody.
Well, nobody needs to know. But he's not there anymore. So how does that help your argument anyway? He left too. He's back at WWE because he wants to finish his story. That's where his daddy was.
You don't know how Dusty's career ended at WWE from an in-ring perspective, do you?
No, I wasn't old enough.
With the black and yellow polka dots and well, we won't get into that. It's a whole nother story.
I'm just saying, I don't see how you. I get that you like AEW. I get they have a good roster. I'm not saying that they're bad wrestlers. I'm not saying they're the minor league of wrestling, but they're only 5 years into their and like WrestleMania is like an established thing, an established event, right? Like,
right, 40 of them. Number 40 this year.
And WWE is just I mean, I don't see. I guess maybe you're looking at it from someone with a little bit more knowledge of the industry, and I'm looking at it as a casual fan. Right. And as a casual fan, I can't imagine anybody right now, as a little kid, being like, "Oh, I can't wait to be at All In." Like, no, you want to be at WrestleMania. You want to main event WrestleMania. You want to win a
little
title.
British kids want to be on. What? It's at Wembley. That's where they're sticking with. Please, sir, may I have some tickets to All In? No, nothing. All right. If you hear somebody eating rock candy in the background, that's actually one of our cats.
See, so it is a cat podcast.
It is. That's what it's going to become, clearly. All right. So you still stick by your opinion that
I will always stick by that opinion.
That he'd be better off right now in WWE. If he had the chance to jump today, he should do it.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't.
Okay.
All right. Well, there's nothing really mean about this. We can call each other names. You're kind of looking at me funny.
This is just my face. I look at you funny.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. If you're just listening, you got to watch on YouTube.
Or not.
No, what? No. What?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I look good on the camera.
Oh, my God. Is the lighting all right? You'd spend 90 minutes doing your makeup. I hope you look good. You
said that in a very catty... That was very mean. You're mean. That was a very mean thing to say. You know I love my makeup.
I know you love your makeup, but 90 minutes just to do a podcast in our dining room?
There's no watch on your wrist, by the way.
So don't watch on YouTube so you can't... Oh, let me learn how to promote the thing that I'm creating for the cat. I don't know. All right. We're going to see if we're going to get... We're going to organically start picking on each other. Let's switch to reality. Mm-hmm. This is an argument we've had the other night. We've had it a couple times, and we want to actually record it this time correctly. Vanderpump Rules.
Yes.
A show that neither of us really watched before Scandoval.
Yeah, prior to Scandoval, neither of us were avid watchers.
I didn't know what the show was. I didn't know who Lisa Vanderpump was. I didn't know anything. Just Scandoval permeated everything. Where I work, they were writing about it, talking about it. Everything was this fucking Scandoval thing about Tom Sandoval breaking up with Ariana Madix after 10 years, cheating on her.
Yeah, he didn't break up with her.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, that's a very weird way to put it.
Cheated on her, had an affair with, was it her best friend? Were they best friends?
If you ask Ariana, they were the best of friends.
The best of friends.
I mean, they were close.
I'm not going to recap the whole thing. Anyway, so they do that. They have the Bravo reunion where they all catty-called, scream at each other, and you suck and you're the worst. And they come back for the new season on the heels of that. Mm-hmm. Since then, Ariana's done Dancing with the Stars, almost won. Here Comes the Cat to make it a cat podcast.
Hi, Rosebud.
Son of a bitch. Tom Sandoval did, and she's going to rub up against the microphone. Tom Sandoval did a reality show for Fox, I think Special Forces or some shit. So they come back, and I'm like, I was actually intrigued to actually get into the show now post Scandoval. Mm-hmm. And that season premiere fell fucking flat.
Okay.
And you don't agree that it fell flat. You thought it was good. You said it pulled you in and you're interested in the rest of the season. Sandoval wasn't even on the show.
Yeah.
Okay? Raquel wasn't on the show. Raquel, whatever she's calling herself these days. She's not going to be on the show. That's been said. Why would you start the season? And you're going to go, oh, well, they started recording it. Why would you not start the season when Tom Sandoval was back from the fucking reality show and ready to dive into this? Why are we just seeing everybody else's lives and like the fallout and like, oh, I live here now and this is my daughter and I have a job and like it was boring. And to bring it back to wrestling, I know I'm ranting here. Bring it back to wrestling, like if the night after WrestleMania, if Cody, Roman, and The Rock aren't on Raw, what the fuck are we doing here? So that's where my brain's at. So what made you think that was a solid follow-up, solid season premiere after such a pop culture permeating story like Scandoval?
Well, one, they had already, like, you said not to go into it, but the timeline doesn't work out, right? Like, you think, like...
I'm not caring about the timeline. What about that episode? What got you excited to watch more?
Because that's just how it goes, right? Scandoval was one event. This show's been on the air for 10 years. There's been a lot of other developments in these people's lives that people care about.
But nobody's heard about it unless you're a Bravo head like you.
Exactly. Just like if nobody cares about All In unless you care about AEW. People care about the rest of them if they've watched this show.
Why you gotta keep shitting on All In?
I'm just saying, that's the only one I know. Tell me, I don't know any other PLE or pay-per-view that they have. All In. You know why? Because I'm a casual fan and they don't matter to me. So... Vanderpump Rules.
Prince Charles has or King Charles has fucking cancer. You leave England alone.
That's rude to bring up.
He's been Prince Charles for so long. Anyway. Okay, go ahead.
I think you're looking at it as, oh, this is what captivated me. You have to keep me captivated.
That's what hooked me.
But there are, honest to God, like, fans that have been watching since day one.
I don't care about them.
Yeah, but they don't care about you. Bravo isn't catering to Christopher Robinson when they're filming this shit. They're catering to the fans of Vanderpump.
But they should be catering to the casual fan that maybe came onto the show because of this, just like wrestling does it to casual fans. That's why The Rock is back.
But they did this already. They already went back and they actually started reshooting after the shit blew up because they wanted to get one final episode in showing the aftermath. We already saw the aftermath of this.
The reunion.
Yes, now we're seeing the dust settle. Okay, now we're seeing Ariana get on with her life. We're seeing how the rest of them are addressing and looking at things in hindsight, right? Like they're looking at it and saying, well, should I really felt this way about Raquel? You know, how are we moving forward with Tom? Like, we are still getting that, but everybody has to be involved. This isn't just the Ariana Madix show.
Right, everybody has to be involved. Sandoval wasn't even there.
I think that was a great ending to that. Like, I was like, when he walks in, it's like, oh shit, next episode, what's going to happen? Like, these shows have to develop.
Next episode, he's not going to have a mustache.
Like, I don't get what you, like, this is just how it goes. This is how every one of these reality shows goes. Like, shit happened last season. When the new season starts, you get a sense of how people have reset, right? And you're now building the story again, because each season kind of has their own storyline going.
What storyline did they build besides Ariana giving Tom Schwartz a cold shoulder?
I think Katie and Tom got divorced. They're still navigating their life as part of this friend group post-divorce. And I believe there's going to be a love triangle somewhere in this season. Ooh. Yeah. Lala's still navigating her life post-divorce in a custody issue. I think they discussed this on the first episode. You know, they all have businesses. Lisa Vanderpump has businesses. That's what all these shows are about. Like,
it's her fucking show. It's funny to me, too, that being her show, she is not, in my opinion, a primary character. Or over the course of the show now has kind of been knocked down to just overseeing it and, like, being involved in their lives just because of the last 10 years. But she's not a primary character on the show anymore, in my opinion.
Not really. I guess not. But
I mean, again, from that episode. So here, like, I'm willing to give them another episode to, like.
Oh, how generous of you.
Yeah, I mean.
Kind of benevolent.
Next time you talk to Andy Cohen, tell him that I'm going to do it. Because I want to see Sandoval come back. I mean, that's the thing, too. The preview for the rest of the season was more intriguing than this episode. Like,
because there's episodes to watch. Like, you can't just give it all away in the first episode.
I'm willing to wager that the next episode is much better, much more intriguing. Sandoval comes back, things get more dramatic, and it's just a better. Like I just feel like from a production editing standpoint, this episode was a throwaway. Like little parts of that episode could have been included in a bigger picture in something else that they could have structured the episode around a bigger moment than Ariana giving Tom Schwartz so many fucking Toms giving Tom Schwartz the cold shoulder, because to me, like, that's the thing, they got to leave you wanting more for next week, and I guess leave you wanting more is just, well, what's gonna happen when Sandoval comes back, like from Special Forces? I don't know.
I think also you don't watch enough reality TV shows. Know that's kind of like the formula for these episodes. There's like the fights and the things that they lead up to are just brief moments, right? You might have like an altercation or like a tense interaction for like 2 or 3 minutes, but then it's a whole lot of nothing. Where you look into all their other lives and they talk and you see them like doing other things and having coffee and going out to dinner and just chatting about what's going to happen. And then they do like a lot of the housewife shows are just them eating and like, oh, we're going to this restaurant, now we fight.
Yeah, that's the last episode you're watching of Real Housewives of Miami. They were on a boat in Mexico.
Yeah.
And then
they were beefing. And then they stopped beefing.
And then the one woman, I don't know their names. One woman started feeding dogs on the shoreline.
Oh, Lisa, yeah.
And then the other woman got mad at her for feeding the
Kiki,
dogs.
yes.
And then they started screaming, like, shut the fuck up at each other. And
yeah,
screaming
and it escalated very quickly.
And then the boat went by a weird island of baby dolls, like toy dolls and doll heads, and it was creepy as shit. And they were like, oh, yeah, no, that's like the boat driver was just like, yeah, no, there was this, he told him like a quick story. He's like all nonchalant about it. Like, yeah. And then so, they hung up the dolls to ward away the spirits. It's just like, what? Like that, but you're right. The whole episode was just like nonsense. I mean, there was some stuff about divorces and bullshit like that. But
that's the thing. Most of this stuff is just them leading their lives.
But it's just like,
and then when they interact, it's like, okay, fight, and then go back to leading. Like even like when they've been in Mexico in the Real Housewives of Miami, like you saw Adriana preparing for her show that's coming up, right, in Mexico City. Lisa's dealing with her divorce and talking about what like Lenny's gonna give her, and
that's the appeal. That's the appeal, and that's why you're drawn to wrestling, and that's why I'm giving these shows a chance, because it's like story, tension build, maybe not even connected tension build between two people, but they're both dealing with bullshit, and then they just like the match, and then they both go at each other, even though they're mad about other things. Like you said, what's her face and divorce. I don't know what the other one was mad at, but just the dog feeding, which was weird. That was so weird to get mad at. Like she's just feeding.
I don't know.
Like,
she got mad because Lisa was making comments about how the dogs weren't taken care of, and it came off privileged. Kiki grew up less than privileged, and Lisa was talking about how like I gotta take care of these dogs and I have to be the savior.
Right, but they're dogs.
Okay, but like
there wasn't like poor children sitting on the thing.
I'm just saying that's how Kiki felt.
I
think it's a valid thing to be upset about, but yes, it escalated. Lisa could have just sat down and said, "I'm not going to feed the dogs." Like both people just took it too far. And
that's the fight.
And
then it's over.
Yeah,
just like wrestling.
Exactly.
But will they fight again? Is that the beginning of
an ongoing feud,
of a dislike between those two that's going to come back around? See, I mean that's why I would say reality TV, and I put it in quotes if you're watching on YouTube, because it's. The producers, the directors, the editors, and everything, they kind of steer the ship.
They do.
In certain directions. They try to put people into combustible situations when they know that they're, boiling over for whatever reason.
Don't even tell them what to talk about. They're like, oh, you should bring this. Like,
yeah.
Definitely. Listen, I'm not stupid enough to think that this is all real reality.
Feed those dogs. It's going to piss her off. like, oh, okay. Like, that'd be funny that earpiece is in. Like, got to feed the dogs, right? It's the feed the dog scene. And then... Oh, wait, the dead baby dolls. Everybody shut up. It's the weird, creepy baby dolls for no reason. That have nothing to do with anything.
Really entertaining yourself here.
With what?
Your own self.
I'm doing my own one-man show.
Yeah.
You're sitting here, too. All right, so, we circle back to it, but yes. Okay, so you're excited for Vanderpump. I'm going to give him one more shot. And that's it. Just like you should give AEW one more shot.
I give them lots of shots. I watch the Collision.
Now, what if R-Truth jumped to AEW?
First of all, then we got something. All right. Or if like Prince Nana came to WWE, then it's just two ridiculousness and non-seriousness together.
You want Nana to manage Truth?
Yes.
That'd be ridiculous.
I like them both, and I think they're funny.
Make no sense.
That's the only thing I like. I only watch Swerve come out, and I don't watch the match.
You only enjoy his entrance. He's an amazing wrestler, and he's turned into an awesome heel. You heard from me.
And the sheets, the dirt sheets.
Oh.
Is that what you call it? In Bravo Celebrity World, it's the blogs.
Oh.
You call them the sheets?
The dirt sheets.
The dirt sheets.
Yeah.
Because they be coming up. My algorithm now sends me a lot of wrestling stuff on the social medias.
Oh, we can talk about algorithms?
No, I mean, that's... I mean, if you want to, you're here too.
I don't know if we could debate algorithms. Oh, and then what else do you want to talk about? Tony, What do you want to talk about? Is there anything you want to bring up? We've said reality wrestling and relationships. Is there anything in the relationship you want to bring up? Putting you on the spot. Thinking about it.
No, what in our relationship do we have to talk about?
Huh?
We're not that interesting as people. As a couple.
We're not. Oh, well, that's upsetting.
You think we're like people want to hear about us?
I don't know.
Well, what is going on? What's going on?
Huh?
What's going on in our life?
I bought up an Incubus, Coheed and Cambria concert today, and you're ditching me for your brother to go with him.
Yeah, but me and my brother have gone to Incubus concerts for years together.
Okay, but then the three of us could go. We went to an Incubus concert last year.
I also think my brother would feel like a third wheel, like it's like a date, and then he tags along. In reality, it's like our thing, and you're tagging along. But that's not how
we're not teenagers. We're not be like, let's make out during Coheed and Cambria. Like,
oh, we weren't gonna.
Or like, let's make out during Aqueous Transmission by Incubus.
Oh, that was the plan. I was
or Animali. I'm just gonna list Incubus songs that we can't play because it's a podcast. If you're not an Incubus fan, you probably...
Well, they're very certainly going to play Aqueous Transmission. It's all of Morning View.
Yeah, because they're re-releasing Morning View. They were going to do it last year and call Morning View 23. I just read they're still going to do it, re-release it, re-record it, and call it Morning View 23. I'm like, hey guys, wrong year. Like, I guess because last year was the anniversary of it, like 20 years or some shit.
Is that your favorite Incubus album?
No.
What is it?
The one with Drive on it.
Make Yourself?
Make Yourself, yeah.
Oh, I love it so much you can't name it.
Oh my God, you put me on the spot. It's not a music podcast.
I know all the Incubus songs I love.
Oh, good for you. You know all the Incubus songs you love.
That's why you're not coming to the concert.
Because I couldn't remember the name of the album.
If you love it so much.
Oh my God. I told you, I'll get other seats. You and your brother can go sit wherever you want to sit.
You should sit in front of us and then stand up in front of me so I can't see.
Because I'm a foot taller than you?
Yes. It's just, we've gone for a long time. We went to the last one we went to was the one at Radio City when they did all of Make Yourself, your favorite album.
And last one we went to was last summer at PNC Arts Center.
2 summers ago.
2 summers ago?
It wasn't this past summer. It was the summer prior.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Fuck. It was at PNC Arts Center in New Jersey. It was them and Sublime with Rome and some other opening band.
Yeah.
That was all women that I don't remember.
And they were amazing. But you didn't sing. Like, I was really loud and annoying.
I didn't sing?
You don't sing
Did your brother sing?
Yeah.
Okay. I can sing. We can do the harmonies together and... No?
I don't want you to do it as a favor to me.
I'm gonna like go in like a mustache and a trench coat, but like Tony can't see me. I look like a fucking local pervert, like in the crowd, like 2 rows behind you. Forget being in front of 2 behind you. Throw popcorn at you.
And also, like, well, obviously we won't do it this time because we know what they're gonna start with. They're gonna start with the first song on the album.
Well, it said the album and hit, so they might not.
No, well, the last time they did this for Make Yourself, they just went
all
through
the way
it
through
and in order.
Yeah. And the encore is like, they maybe did an encore, they do 3 or 4.
Yeah, and then they did a couple of like the hits from the other albums. So like they played Warning at the last one, obviously my favorite song. But so this one, obviously they'll start with Nice to Know You. But like Carlos and I, when we used to go, we used to play the games like what song they're going to start with.
Yeah.
And what song's going to be their encore. And when I try playing that with you, you're like, I don't know. Like you got to guess. That's why it's a guessing game. And then on the way home, we do nothing but listen to Incubus. And you didn't do that with me either.
Oh, well, fuck me.
You just don't know how to enjoy an Incubus concert.
I'm sorry I'm not your brother. I'm sorry I don't have the same passion for Incubus that he does. I love Incubus. One of my favorite bands. I saw them way back in the fucking late 90s when they were, at PNC. But, all right, fine. Go. I'm still going to go. I'll sit somewhere else.
Okay.
And just cry myself. Cry.
I mean, if you really want to come with us.
No, do me no favors. Was the other potential name for this podcast.
Because all we do is favors for each other.
Don't do me no favors. All right. Let's wrap it up because we can't do an hour. That we're not there yet.
I don't really like talking to you for an hour.
I don't like being at this table with you for more than 5-10 minutes at a time, but here we are.
It's going to be the end of our relationship. This podcast is going to kill us.
You're supposed to say you're mean to me, not this is going to be the end of our relationship.
You've never been meaner to me than at that moment.
Well, my last podcast was called Chris's Divorce, so I just bring that back again, I guess. Bring that back around.
Oh, this one should have been going, Chris is remarried.
It's not about our marriage. Our marriage is 3 months old.
I was just trying to tie it all together like a trilogy.
We'll do a spinoff. If this gets real wildly popular, we'll do a spinoff where we just talk about our wonderful married life together. Okay. It's on camera. People could see you rolling your eyes. And if they can't, I just told them you rolled your eyes. All right. Let's wrap it up. We're going to be all over social media, Instagram, Twitter. Like I said, it's going to be on YouTube. You can find all the links below, like on every other piece of content you consume. You know where to find it. Your Mean to Me podcast. Subscribe, like, follow, all that jazz. Thank you for listening and or watching. Is there anything you want to say? You got to come up with a sign off. Like Tony out, like, or something.
We'll workshop that.
Later, homies.
No.
Later, homies.
I'm not doing it.
Later, homies.
You look ridiculous.